Well, you know, Christine, definitely the biggest change that we've seen is, of course, in the numbers. Sadly, the first time we were at the camp, the numbers were no more than 30 people. Then that has turned into 40, and it is now at 70. We were really surprised to discover this, considering all the talk of the recession ending and things getting better that is taking place in the United States. It was really shocking to see how much the camp has really expanded since the last time we were there. And in terms of the changes, we have to say that visibly it has really turned into something a lot more organized than it used to be, which is really also a sad example, really, because this means that people are there to stay and they understand that.
Sort of a little community, as it looked like. I'm wondering, I mean, I didn't realize, you said it went from 30 to 70 people. That's more than doubling the population of this little community. I'm wondering if you recognized familiar faces, people that were there last year and are still there now.
Christine, you know, I really was hoping that we wouldn't see the familiar faces, but unfortunately we did. We did show that one man in our report. He's in his 50s. You know, the change in him has really been drastic. I remember this man the last time we were there several months ago, and he was a very cheerful person, played a little music for us. And these days, he's really transformed. It looks like this particular man aged at least 10 years. There was another woman we talked to the previous times who was still there, unfortunately, even though she was one of the most hopeful ones that she would be leaving very, very soon, and she's still there this time around. She didn't want to talk on camera and was quite disappointed by the fact that we had returned and still witnessed her there, as well as a couple of other people. But you know, it's important that people, some of the campers there, they come and go, but it has turned into somewhat of a vicious circle for many, because those who do leave, unfortunately, end up coming back.
I'm wondering, we saw in your report mostly men sort of on the young side and middle age, but what's the actual population? I know a lot of people don't want to talk on camera that stay there. I mean, were there a lot of women there? Were there children?
Well, Christine, the women there do make up as much as a third of the entire camp, as you rightfully said, and as we did point out in that report, they did not feel good enough about their situation to talk on camera about it and really be shown to the rest of the country in this particular case. And there are no children at the camp. We do know that in the 5 years that it's existed, there have been a couple of mothers with kids there, but they didn't stay around long, thankfully, because there was shelters found for them, and it would have really been a much bigger issues if children were staying at this camp.
Obviously, Anastasia, you know about this camp. Others know about it as well. How do the residents, do they have to deal with police? Is there a danger that they're going to be asked to leave at any point?
Yes, you know, apart from having a terrible life of struggle every single day, just trying to sustain themselves in the middle of the woods, really in the middle of nowhere, with no jobs, homes, or family members, these residents also go through a constant struggle with authorities. Some have really called it a war even, because they do face constant eviction threats. The community leader, Steve Brigham, whom we saw in that report, is being sued by local officials who want the camp shut down. And this is something that they keep fighting. They keep really protesting. They were offered by officials to be taken to a psychiatric ward because there are no shelters available in the area. But certainly this is something that they've refused. They'd rather stay in the woods than go to you know, a psychiatric ward, understandably in this particular case.
Certainly, it's one thing to visit homeless people on the streets or in these kind of places, but to go back repeatedly really gives a lot of perspective to see how much things have changed. RT's Anastasia Churkina in New York.